Would you like to know more?
Welcome to the War Master Podcast, episode 30 of Adventures in 3D Printing. Today we're looking at some Forest Dragon Wood Elf Cavalry. So what have we got? First up are the port of High Elf Reavers. So they are 3-1 with 3 hits and 6 up armor. So they got range 30 bows, hitting on 4s, because they've lost the cheesy hitting on 3 elfiness. What are they riding on here? Just horses. Is that horses? I think that we might have lost a horse face. I'll talk to you about this issue here that's just become evident now. I thought it was going to be on the next video. I was going to talk about it. But I used lychee to not only slice and support and stuff, but also to auto arrange. And I'm pretty sure it arranged things like this horse's head and also some spear tips to be off the print bed. So it printed the horse, but obviously its head here has just vanished because that is the edge of the print bed. So you can see it can't print it. And also this bit of hoof here. So as good as lychee is, the auto arrange has thrown up some issues, which it definitely did in this set of prints, unfortunately. So we've lost that horse's head there. Got a nice banner. Are they single-handed spears this time rather than double-handed spears? They've got some nice chunky elf bows. The reason they have to be chunky is because you're printing in 10mm, and if you did a bow to scale in 10mm, it would snap as soon as you touch it. So some cosmetic kind of differences have to be accommodated in order for things to work at 10mm, which is one of the reasons that I'm always a little bit skeptical of people trying to shrink down sculpts from 28mm or bigger and then make them into 10mm, because a 28mm spear and a 10mm sculpted spear are completely different things. So I'm sure it can be done. I'm sure you can play around with settings and go in and re-sculpt or re-engineer or whatever you do in Blender or whatever, but I'm not sure it will work just reducing them and printing them. Which is another issue with, there was a Kickstarter a couple of years ago for Chaos Dwarfs that claimed to have the same sculpts for both. And they were literally the same sculpts. So I'm not sure how that would work when you've got the same sculpts just being enlarged or shrunk or whatever to make them work at a different scale. Anyway, and here's another example. The face of this horse has gone because it was outside the print bed. Which is obviously, when something like that happens, you do feel a little bit sad because they are lovely prints. And I can't use a print without a horse's face. Look, here he is, look. He's got such beautiful things, elves, aren't they? Look at him. Where's his legs? Oh, it's I thought he had his legs tucked behind him. And they're just too pretty, too pretty. If I was going to be an elf or a dwarf, I'd be an elf. A dwarf. God damn, what am I saying? Whereas I'm pretty sure Paul would be an elf. I'd be a dwarf, he'd be an elf. And we'd both be happy. So next up's the other half of the Glade Riders. I never really did Wood Elves in fantasy either. They just never appealed to me. Again, it was probably due to the fact that people had to bring their own forests. But they were definitely a good choice for Mr. Forest Dragon because there was very limited availability, and they were a range that had been recently introduced to War Master. So top choice there, sir. Again, top of this spear's gone because that was outside the print bed. If I reprint this batch, I'll have to do something about that because I mean, it doesn't look that bad actually. It looks quite gnarly, doesn't it? To have this spear cut off. Maybe he's broken it in something's eye cavity. Nice ruined horn. This guy looks like he's going to throw his spear. Nice. And you can see the very dynamic poses, which is excellent. Another thing you can do, and some reasonable rigidity there, but that's because we've got a connecting point here. So even though I'm pulling on here, it's not just resting on these two hoofs. We've got the tail onto the horse behind's nose, so that provides some good stability. So they are the Glade Guard. The next set I've got are Wild Riders. And this is probably the one profile in the Wood Elf list that I'm unhappy with. Not that I had that much to do with the list, to be honest. I was a bit... yeah. Let's just say me and Wood Elves have issues. But I don't really like the profile that they're sitting at. It feels like we've invented a profile just for these fellas, and that generally is a bad idea. The way the Wood Elf list worked, again this bit hasn't printed properly, is that we took lots of, the royal we, lots of existing profiles, and then we kind of just gave them the immune to terror buff. But they also have a negative trait in that they're more difficult to command. So in my mind, these should be ball boys, and they're not. They're a profile that's unique to them, where they're 3/3/5 plus for 110 points, and they get an extra attack on the charge in the same way as Dark Elf Cold ones do. But I think it would be better and cleaner if they were just a port of ball boys, which are 4/3/5 plus for 110 points. And they'd have the immune to terror because they're spirits, apparently, forest spirits. Maybe we could give them the instability table, and deal with the bloody demons. Because if they are spirits, are they any different to demons? Who knows? I'm having a little bit of trouble focusing on their faces, but maybe that's because they don't really have faces because they're spirits. You can see the faces of the elks, but not really the faces of the riders. I think they're kind of... Are they enclosed? Yeah, it looks... I'd have to change my camera. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I'm having trouble with the faces. I don't know if they're deliberately kind of blanked out and like... Yeah, they probably are, aren't they? They're probably like ghostly faces. So the features are deliberately soft. Yeah. Almost like wooden masks they're wearing. As I say, I'm not a great lover of Wood Elves, so I don't know a terrible amount about the lore of Wood Elves, if I'm being honest. And this is the final set. So final 3 stands again. We've lost the end of that one. Fantastic sculpts of the deers, or whatever they are, riding. I guess it's deer. Oh, look, this is another issue with my current setup. Is that clean up when they're soft, because they're soft so you can get them off, but they can mean that these things break off real easy, and we've lost an entire leg there, unfortunately. And we've got a nice runed banner with our command. Let's see if we can go around the other side and see if there's anything on the other side. Yeah. Nice. So good work as always, Forest Dragon, and we've got the 3rd and final video of this set of Forest Dragon stuff. I'm going to be looking at some of the characters and also I think they're war dancers, but that'll be along next.